What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. This is going to be my 2020 MLB season predictions. Not doing World Series or anything like that, or who will win the Rookie of the Year, MVP, and that kind of stuff. It's a little bit early for that, in my opinion. I don't like really to do playoff predictions, all that stuff, because again, I just don't really like to do that. I'm not really good with predicting what team, win the wild card and all that stuff. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out that format sometimes, but that's just the way it is. So I decided to do this because I put this on my Facebook and Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Steve K, or I think it's Stephen K 3824. I don't really know. I think it's Steve K 3824, but let me just look that up just real quick so I can well anyway, it's there. Okay, so let's get right into this. So once again, MLB season predictions for the 2020 baseball season. I've already posted them on my Facebook and Instagram. Of course, a lot of people or some people are disagreeing with me because of the fact of the way I said it, but that's why it's called a prediction. All right, so I'm trying to get this up and I keep losing connection here on this phone for some reason, but sorry. So here we go. We're going to start with the American League East. So for first place in the American League East, that would have to be the New York Yankees. I don't particularly like to go with the New York Yankees a lot of times because of the fact I'm not really a Yankees fan. I'm going to admit I used to be a fan of them back in the day because of the fact they used to have Mike Mussina on their team, who was a pitcher for the Orioles from 1991 to 2000. Now, yeah, hey, Ben, as for the Blue Jays, it's going to be tough. Then again, hasn't always been that way. Well, and by the way, if I look down here, that's where my screen is. I'm using a monitor now instead of looking up there at my television. So I'm just giving this a shot, basically. So here we go. Now I'm going to get all the MLB rosters up. So once again, now for the New York Yankees, they have a lot of acquisitions on their team, including Garrett Cole from the Houston Astros to join their rotation. And they got a lot of other players too, but they have lost Dylan Betances to free agency, who has gone to the New York Mets, I believe he has. But they still have Gary Sanchez at catcher. In my opinion, he makes way too many errors at catcher, but he's pretty good with the bat, though, sometimes, but he just makes a lot of mistakes at catcher. Now, for first base, it's probably going to be, I'm guessing, Luke Voigt there because Greg Bird, I believe, is filed for free agency and he might be on another team. DJ LeMahieu will be at second base, who's made a pretty amazing comeback. He's been doing pretty well. Third base is probably going to be Gleyber Torres, I'm going to say. Miguel Andujar had a little bit of an injury. He'll probably get some playing time too. Or Gleyber Torres will probably be at shortstop. Gio Urshela is another player might get some playing time too. And for outfield, left to right, I think it's going to be Brett Gardner and Aaron Hicks and Aaron Judge. Giancarlo Stanton will probably get some designated hitting also as well too, or him and Aaron Judge will change it up. Like Aaron Judge will play right field, Stanton will DH, or Stanton will play right field or left field, and Gardner will do DH. I don't know about Aaron Judge doing DH, but you never know. So anyway, just get out of the way. Yankees for first place. I say about 96 wins or so. They also do have pitchers like the fifth one's going to be a question mark because Luis Severino had an injury. They also have Masahiro Tanaka and a few others too, but let's just move on. For second place, I know this is going to be questioning, to some of you people, but again, it's why it's a prediction. I'm going with the Baltimore Orioles for second place. Now, the reason I'm going with them for second place, now I know they've lost some players. They traded Jonathan VR to the Miami Marlins for a couple players, and they traded Dylan Bundy to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Now, we still have pitchers like on our team, like Alex Cobb, who's still with us. He's a veteran, kind of. Asher Wojciechowski, John Means, who's going to be the ace, who had a really good season last year, who was the Orioles' only all-star. Could have been two if Trey Mancini was elected to the all-star game. But the closing role is going to be a question mark because it was Michael Givens who was doing it, but he blew a lot of saves. And it's probably going to be Hunter Harvey. Catcher will be Pedro Severino and Chance Sisco. First base is going to be Chris Davis. I know he's been striking out a lot, but he might make a turnaround. I mean, you never know what he might do. Second base will be Hanser Alberto, I believe. He came over from the San Francisco Giants, and he'll probably be, getting a good amount of playing time. Third base is probably going to be Rio Ruiz and Renato Nunez. Rio Ruiz had a really nice walk-off home run last year, and Renato Nunez had close to 100 RBIs at DH, but it's probably going to be Rio Ruiz. And the shortstop is going to be the new acquisition, Jose Iglesias, I'm pretty sure, who came over from Cincinnati. We only signed him to a one-year deal, but we'll see about that. The outfield, left to right, probably will be Anthony Santander in left field, Austin Hayes in center, and Trey Mancini in right field. And for DH, well, it won't be Mark Trumbo because Trumbo has filed for free agency, but it could be Trey Mancini at first base and Chris Davis at DH or DJ Stewart at DH, but he's supposed to have some surgery and he might miss a little bit of spring training, but I don't know about opening day wise. Now they're saying about Cedric Mullins maybe coming back, but Cedric Mullins had a little bit of a rough year. But don't know about him, like being in center field. I mean, it's pretty much going to be Austin Hayes, in my opinion. So, once again, Orioles for second place, and I say about 90 wins. For third place, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, not really a whole lot to say about Tampa Bay. I mean, they're a pretty good squad. They still have Blake Snell in the rotation and Charlie Morton as well. I'm pretty sure Charlie Morton is going to be the ace and Blake Snell. I always say Ian Snell for some reason, but Blake Snell will be number 2 and the rest of them and the rest of the players on the roster. I mean, they got a good amount of players, like I said, but I just think it's going to be third place for them, about 85 wins, I say, and I'm not really going to do like playoff predictions once again. For fourth place, I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox. Now, the reason going with them for fourth place is they've lost Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has been traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers along with David Price for a couple people. So their rotation is probably going to be Chris Sale, obviously at ace. He didn't really have a spectacular season as he wasn't really sailing along. And Eduardo Rodriguez, he could be the ace. He's another lefty in the rotation, but it's a possibility. Then the others, well, whoever they have, basically. Nathan Eovaldi could be a starter too, but he's had a little bit of some injuries. He'll probably be the number 3 starter, or if they put him in relief, and the rest of them will probably be just some rookie players. Then Christian Vasquez at catcher. First base will probably be Mitch Moreland. Dustin Pedroia has had a lot of injuries, but I think it's going to go to Michael Chavis. I believe he's a second baseman. And then third base will be Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts. And the outfield will probably consist of JD Martinez, probably getting some playing time in right field, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Andrew Benintendi. I mean, they still got some players on the roster, but they also did get Alex Vertigo from the Dodgers, so he might get some playing time too. And for last place, the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Toronto Blue Jays, they have a lot of players on there like Bo Bichette, Kayvon Biggio, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But in my opinion, I think they're going to get traded one day, but I don't know exactly. But they are pretty good players, but the rotation needs to be fixed big time. Marcus Stroman no longer with them. They have Matt Shoemaker, who had an injury. Then they got Hyun-Jin Ryu, who came over from the Dodgers. And by the way, for win-wise for the Red Sox, I'd say about 76. 76 and 80-something. I'm not good with doing that kind of thing, basically. For them, I mean, it'll probably be first base is going to be a question mark. It's probably going to be Travis Shaw. Second base will be Kayvon Biggio or Bo Bichette. Shortstop or third base will be Vlad Guerrero Jr. and shortstop probably Kayvon Biggio or Bo Bichette, but I think Biggio at second base for whatever position. And the outfield, don't really know. I mean, not going to get in a whole lot of detail. And for win-wise for them, I say 71 wins and 80 some losses. But now we're going to move to the Central. For first place in the Central, I am going to go with the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins still have, good amount of people on their squad, like Jose Barrios, and they got Homer Bailey, guy who's pitched two no-hitters, I believe, in his career, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 2012 and 2013. I was just double checking on there. Rocco Baldelli, who is still their manager. I mean, he was a pretty good ball player, but he's doing a pretty good job as manager. So, yeah, once again, them for first place, and I say about 93 wins. Second place, this is a little bit tough. I'm going to go with the Chicago White Sox. I think, they got a pretty good squad, and I actually am a Chicago White Sox fan. As back in the day when they had players like Frank Thomas and Paul Konerko, Jose Valentin, Joe Creedy, Mark Burley in their rotation, and a lot of pretty good players. I remember back in the day, but I say them for second place, about 88 wins. Third place, the Cleveland Indians. Still got players like Francisco Lindor and a few others. I say about 85 wins. I think it's going to be a pretty close battle with them and the Chicago White Sox. For fourth place, I'm going to go Kansas City Royals. They do have a new manager named Mike Matheny, and Jorge Soler has been tearing it up for them. He was last year, and Salvador Perez had Tommy John surgery, but he could be back. But I still think, and I think they still have Alex Gordon, but still think that they're going to get fourth place, and I say about 73 wins. And for last place, the Detroit Tigers. I mean, it's a shame to see them struggling like this. I mean, they were doing pretty well. Like Miguel Cabrera was lighting it up and stuff, but now they're just not really doing it that much anymore. I'd say about 69 wins. I mean, don't mean to say that, but we'll see. All right, so let's see. Now we go to the West. Go West. For the American League West, this is probably going to be another question mark again to some people, but I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Yes, they acquired Dylan Bundy from the Orioles, and they have a new manager, which I believe is Brad Ausmus. Joe Madden, or hang on a second. I want to double check here. I don't want to make a mistake. It is Joe Madden. I'm sorry. I had a feeling I messed up. They got a new manager, and I don't even know what Brad Ausmus is doing. But they have Dylan Bundy in the rotation. They've got a good amount of other ones too. Julio Tehran is also there, and a few others. But still, they don't have a good first place finish. I say about 93 wins. Second place, I'm gonna go with the Texas Rangers. That might be another question mark once again because of the fact that the Texas Rangers have acquired a good amount of people. And I think that they might put it together and have a pretty good season. 85 wins, I say. For third place, I'm going to go with the Houston Astros. I know that's another question mark once again. Well, even though they have Alex Bregman still, Jose Altuve, but they lost Garrett Cole, one of their important pieces, but they still have Justin Verlander. I mean, it's going to be a battle, with these teams and stuff, but I mean, you never know pretty much. But, all them players they have as well, too. I'd say about 84 wins that they get. For fourth place, the Oakland Athletics. I mean, I remember back in the day how the Oakland Athletics used to be, but I just really don't have much to say. I just haven't really been paying much attention with them. I mean, like when they had Ricky Henderson, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco. I mean, I'm just naming like players back in the day that they had, But I say about 76 wins they get. And for last place is Seattle Mariners. No, they don't. I was about to say they have Nelson Cruz still. They do not. They have Dean Gordon, Kyle Seager still there, Malik Smith, a few players just to mention, but still think that it'll be last place for them. 67 wins, I say they get. All right, now let's move on to the National League as we're done with them. Let's now go to the National League East. For first place, the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I like the Atlanta Braves. I mean, they have Nick Markakis still on the team, Freddie Freeman. They lost Julio Tehran, but they have Cole Hamels in the rotation now, and they've got I thought one of these Mike Fultonevich, a few others too, pretty much. But I mean, we all remember back in the day when they had pitchers like Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz, all three that I believe won a Cy Young award. Yeah, I think so. But still think the Braves will have a good season this year. I say about 88 wins. For second place, I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Phillies. That is probably surprising once again, but the Philadelphia Phillies, I mean, it's another team that I'm actually a fan of. I remember when they had Roy Halladay, rest in peace, Cole Hamels, Brett Myers, a few players back in the day, but they have a new manager, is Joe Girardi, and as far as I'm concerned, I know some people may disagree, but I think he's a pretty good manager. He was out of a job last year, and now he's back managing. So we'll see how that goes for him. But I still think he'll get second place with his team. I say about 85 wins. For third place, the Washington Nationals. Yes, they are the defending World Series champions, but in my opinion, they lost some players, and I still think they're going to finish third place. But about 82 wins or so. I still think they'll finish over 500, but we'll see. For fourth place, the New York Mets. Now, they have some new players, pretty much too, but they do have Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard, I believe, and I think like who else in the rotation? I mentioned they had Dylan Betances and former Oriole Brad Brock and a few others too, but still think it's going to be a fourth place finish for them. I'd say about say 76 wins. I think they get, and last place the Miami Marlins. It's a shame, see them struggling like that. And of course, back in the day when I remember players they had like Jeff Conine, Josh Beckett, and AJ Burnett. I mean, but we'll see how it goes for them. 73 wins, I think they get. Now let's go to the National League Central. For first place in the Central, I'm on with the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm a fan of Christian Yelich on there. I mean, he, was tearing it up, but then he had an injury, which kind of prevented him, I think, from winning the National League MVP award. I forgot who won the National League MVP for 2019. I'm just going to look it up. I'm just trying to see who won it for the National League. I know it was Cody Bellinger. Okay, thank you. But anyway, like I said, I like Christian Yelich. He's a pretty good player, and I think he's going to try and do the best he can to try and get his team, to finish first place. But I still believe that they will finish first place, as again, just that they have a good chance of winning it. So there you go. Brewers, I say about 88 wins. For second place, I'm going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals, another team that I actually like too as well. When my grandfather liked them too. Of course, when Albert Pujols used to play with them and Yadier Molina. Well, I don't actually Yadier Molina is still there, but they also do have Matt Wieters, who probably will get some playing time, but we don't know. I mean, and I think this guy is a new manager for them, or no, it's his second year, Mike Schilt or something, whatever it's pronounced. But still think they'll do pretty well. But I say about 82 wins that they'll get. For third place, as I lost where I was at, third place, I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs. Their new manager is David Ross, who used to be Joe Madden, of course, but still a good amount of players on their squad. But I still think it might be a battle with them and the Cardinals for second place, but we shall see. Once again, I say about 80 wins they get. Fourth place, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and not really a whole lot to say about them. I say 75 wins they get, and the Cincinnati Reds for last place, 71 wins. That's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, so I think we can move on now to the National League West. So let's close this out. All right. So for first place in the National League West, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And yes, with the new acquisition of Mookie Betts in there, it should be pretty good for them. I mean, They also have Cody Bellinger, the National League MVP, and the rotation with Clayton Kershaw and Walker Bueller. A few others too, but they did lose a couple of players. I mean, but I don't think it's really going to be that much of an effect on them. I mean, they got some, and I still think they'll have a good first place finish. I say about 94 wins they get. For second place, I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Might be a surprise to some people, but Charlie Blackmon's pretty good, and Nolan Arenado as well too. The rotation, don't really know exactly. I mean, Herman Marquez and John Gray, I think is pretty good as well. And Daniel Murphy's still there and a few others. But we'll see about that. I say 85 wins they get, I say. Um, hang on a second. I think I made a mistake here. I think I was talking about the wrong team. Wait a minute. Well, second place, second place, the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's what I was saying, but I went on the wrong team anyway. The rotation, I don't really know that well. I mean, just the players on there, I'm just not really sure, but I still think they'll finish second place. 88 wins for them. For third place, the Colorado Rockies. As I mentioned before, the players they have, I say 84 wins they get. For fourth place, the San Diego Padres, who still have Manny Machado. Do kind of miss him on the Orioles, but yeah, we'll say, well, I don't really know. I mean, he did okay with the Padres, in my opinion. But Padres, I say, get about 71 wins. And for last place, the San Francisco Giants, despite with new manager Gabe Kapler, but they lost Madison Bumgarner to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I forgot to mention. Still have Johnny Cueto, former Oriole Kevin Gausman, Jeff Samardzija, Derek Rodriguez, son of Ivan Rodriguez, and Andrew Suarez, possibly for the rotation. And the rest of them too. I mean, we shall see, how it goes. But I say about 69 wins I get. And there you go. So that is going to wrap it up for my 2020 MLB season predictions. So hope everybody enjoyed that. I mean, feel free to comment below and say like your picks, like what teams will finish first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, you can do playoff predictions as you want to too, but I don't really want to like right now. Just don't like to do them that early, pretty much. But that's just the way it is. But there we go. So that's going to wrap it up. But hope everybody enjoyed watching this. Thanks again for everybody joining in and watching. All right. So thanks again for watching. Again, you all take care. Thank you again.